please write down the steps. Dante, could you write down the steps? First equation, be with me. We got 4.3x plus 9.5 equals 35.3. Everything is already in decimal form. This is just a two-step equation. So decimals, if they stop, they're just a type of rational number, and so we shouldn't be afraid of them. We solve it just like normal. So since I don't have to change anything into decimals because it's already happened, we're just going to solve. So I have plus 9.5, so I'm going to subtract 9.5 first, because when we solve two-step equations, we get rid of our addition or subtraction first. And I show that I'm subtracting 9.5 on both sides. So the 9.5 minus 9.5 goes to 0, so I get to cross that out. Bring down what you got left. I have 4.3x is equal to, what is that, 25.8? There was a problem like this on your quiz, 4.3x. Chris, can you explain to me what that means? Like, is that addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division right now? Right now, what is it? Right now, it's multiplication. So if I want to get rid of it, I have to do divisions. I saw a lot of you that tried to subtract on your quiz. Remember, we divide if we see multiplication. If you want to use the division sign, that's fine with me. It means the same thing as the fraction bar. This one turns out very nice. You get x equals 6. Wow, how great. I have a fraction. I know that 3/4 is going to turn into a fraction evenly. And so what I would do, or let me see, a terminating decimal. 3/4 will turn into a terminating decimal, which means a nice decimal that stops. So I could take 3 divided by 4. We learned this in Unit 1. Oh, sorry guys. And I'd get a decimal. So could you do that in your calculator? You might know this in your head, 3/4 as a decimal. You could also do 3 divided by 4 and you'll find out what it is. Because we take the top of the fraction divided by the bottom. Declan, what is that as a decimal?
3 divided by 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's 0.75.
Yeah. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. Instead of writing 3/4, I'm going to write 0.75 times 2x minus 8 equals 15. You've done lots of equations like this. Please. So you need to distribute and then solve. So we're going to distribute this 0.75, just like you've done every other time. Take that thing on the outside, multiply by what's on the inside. 0.75 times 2 would get me, let's see, 0.75, 1.5. You also do 0.75 times negative 8. Let's see. Is that negative 6? Negative 6.
I know it got a lot less colder when you sat there. It feels nice.
All right. This is just a two-step equation. 1.5 is being multiplied, 6 is being subtracted, so undo it with reverse order of operations. I'm going to draw my balancing line. I have subtracting 6, so I add 6 to both sides. Sorry, guys. 1.5x is equal to 21 then, and then I divide by 1.5. (21) divided by 1.5 is 14. I'm going to give you a calculator for these type of problems so you can do it quickly, because my main goal is that you know how to function if I give you decimals or fractions in an equation. I hope that you know that 1/2 as a decimal is 0.5. If you didn't know that, you could do 1 divided by 2. in your calculator, you'll get 0.5 or 5/10. So what we need to do is change the rest of these to decimals. So I need you to fill in what would be here. So 3/4, so negative 3/4 and 7/8, what would those be? On the back, we're told the perimeter of this triangle is 26.8. Perimeter is all the sides added together. So if I ask for the perimeter of like a rectangle, I want you to add up all 4 sides. If I ask for the perimeter of a triangle, I want you to add up all 3 sides. Okay, so it told us the perimeter of this triangle is 26.8, which means if I add up all 3 sides, it has to be equal to 26.8. Our sides are labeled kind of weird right now. They're expressions instead of just numbers. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to put together these 3 expressions in one big long expression and say that's equal to 26.8. So let me show you what I mean. So I would say first side 0.4 x plus 4. That's my first side. That has to be added to my second side. 3.1x minus 10. I also have to add it together to my third side, because I'm adding up all the sides together to get the perimeter. We know the perimeter is equal to 26.8, so I say that equation is equal to 26.8. For those of you who worked on 3.8 yesterday, this is very similar to what you saw. We're going to identify our like terms. 0.4x, 3.1x, 3.5x. Mark your like terms. Did you already combine like terms?
Yeah.
4, negative 10, and negative 12. Let's start with our x's. Let's add from left to right. 0.4 plus 3.1 would be 3.5. 3.5 plus 3.5, 7, right?
Yep.
So 7 x's. Now let's do our constants, our regular numbers from left to right. 4 minus 10 is negative 6. Minus 12 is negative 18. That's still equal to 26.8. All I did was simplify my equation. You know how to solve an equation like this, I hope. We're going to add 18 to both sides. Ooh.
44.
Yeah, what would that be?
44.8.
Okay. Bring down 7x. And to get rid of your multiplication by 7, you have to divide. you have to replace where you see the x. So this is 3.1x minus 10. So instead of writing x, I would write 3.1 times 6.4? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
19.8.
Minus 10. So you would then multiply 3.1 and 6.4 and subtract 10. You can just type this all in your calculator. And you'll get your side length for that side.
Let's subtract 10.
Yep.
Wait, we subtract by 10 even though it's...
So I would say that this side is 9.84. That's fine. You would do the same thing for the other sides. 3.5 times 6.4 minus 12, 0.4 times 6.4 plus 4. So since x is being multiplied by those numbers, that's how I know how to multiply, or how I know to multiply. If you were to put this in your calculator, you would get 6.56 for the top side, and on the side on the right, you would get 10.4. So now that you have your side lengths, those are actually your final answers.